Hello, everyone. How are you? This is Susan. So nice to have you on already. And I've opened this up. There are lovely people waiting for me. Welcome. And today, this show is about trust. When should you trust? When shouldn't you trust? To what degree do you trust? And I'm going to shoot this from a variety of angles, not just those of you that are dating, but also those of you who are currently in a relationship. I'm Susan Winter. I'm a best-selling author and a relationship expert and the proud owner of this channel with so many fabulous, fabulous subscribers and followers today. Doing another live show. I'll also be answering your questions that you send me via live chat, by super chat. This show runs 45 minutes, so if you have a question about trust in a situation that you'd like to hear my response to, I'm happy to do that. So let's begin with figuring out the basics of how do you trust a person? What are the parameters? So I need to break this down into two different categories where you would need to identify for yourself what is your natural default, what is your natural inclination. Because the world pretty much has two camps, and you're to the extreme side or moderate side of that camp. One is those who distrust. They're a little suspicious, a little cynical. They have grown up in an environment where they have seen that people are not what they say they are, where they have seen people pretend, where they have discovered betrayal, or in their life, they've also had a history of cheating and lying, betrayal. So if a new partner comes along in their life who's absolutely wonderful, they'll not see it. They will be anxious. They will be waiting for the other shoe to drop because this is what their history tells them is the current perspective. And people on the extreme end of this, the downside is that they can block love from occurring. They can distrust somebody who's a good person. Excuse me, my allergies here are out off the charts. They can distrust a good person and block the way, and the good person who's trying to prove themselves, and I'm not that person, I'm not your past, it makes it a very daunting task. Okay, the flip side that is good of a distrusting, cynical person is that they're not easily taken. But remember, in life, in perspective, in reality, we can only see what we already know. And think of the Rorschach tests. People don't name something that is not an entity. So we tend to superimpose on our present experience the summation of our past experiences. This is why I would ask those of you who feel anxious or nervous in a new relationship to really discern how much of this is your inherent ongoing level of anxiety, fear, concern that you're going to be hurt, betrayed, lied to. How much of it is chronic, where you carry it throughout your life, and then you just happen to find yourself in a relationship where you're experiencing the same things all over again. Okay? Now let's talk about the other side of the people. You know, maybe you grew up in Chicago or Illinois or Indiana or something like that, or Minnesota like I did. My horrible default with, some of my relatives and people that I know is that we believe you. We tend to believe that you're telling the truth because we tell the truth. So in our reality, we've known people who tell the truth. We've known people who are honest. We've known people who are faithful. And it's odd to us. Now, when I came to New York, I had a quick learning curve. I believed that everybody who said, oh, I'm a famous actress from Hollywood, I'm like, oh, she's a famous actress. They tell me what shows they were in, and then I later discover they've never had a speaking role. I talk about this quite often because this just amazes me. To elevate yourself. You think nobody's ever going to find out. And this level of naivete is perfect to be scammed for online dating, to have a partner cheat on you because you're so naive and not suspecting. So in order to really know, should we trust, should we not trust? Step number one that I'd like you all to do is to identify your natural inherent default. And this is where we begin. You have a situation occur that makes you go, don't know. Uh, and you're looking at this situation. Now, remember, you are looking at it through the lens of your default. So if you are overly generous, thinking everybody's good, I want you instead to start to do some analysis. Is what they said correct? Did they say, if they told me they did this, did they do this? Okay. Let's see. I'm just reading some of your commentary here. I wanted to look in case something was wrong because I have no idea what this says if I don't have my glasses on. So we are looking for you to blend your automatic response with its opposite. If you tend to only see the good, I'd like you to add some objective analysis. If you are always cynical, thinking for sure it's going to fail, I would ask you to consider the possibility that this time this person may actually be truthful. There may be a story that you don't suspect that's underlying all of this. Okay, so that's step number one. Hi, Richie. Hi. Oh my goodness. Hi, everyone. You're too trusting. CC says yes. You're in Illinois, Indiana. Okay, you're too trusting. All right, you're perfect for a scam. Glad you're here because we know all about the dating games. We've got everything for every position on the game board, right? Hi from Germany. Okay, so you understand this is your first step, all right? And again, if you have a question for me, please write me. Do it via super chat. Now, so then the second thing is, if you're mistrusting, I want you to figure out if you're anxious, mistrusting, you're seeing somebody, but you have this feeling underneath something's wrong. I want you to listen to your gut, but I also want you to consider whose stuff is it? Are you a basically trustworthy person, trusting person that has this person doing things that keep breaking your meter? Like, then it's their stuff. If you've just got to know whose business is it, you can have a perfectly rational, balanced person become a crazy person just because they have the wrong partner. So oftentimes we tend to label ourselves with some psychological term, anxious attachment. And I'm not saying that isn't a real thing, it is. But it could just be that you're with somebody that is making you crazy. And then you feel anxious. When I think of most of my client situations, especially the women that I work with, are most anxious to try to curb their anxiety in the relationship. And it is because their partner is not giving them solid footing. And rather than put this label on themselves and read all these books and go down a rabbit hole of what's wrong with them, sometimes the cure is so simple. You are with a person that does not make you feel stable and secure. Your response to feel anxious is rational. It is logical. You do not feel safe. What? We're not trying to repress what you feel. We are trying to bring what you are feeling to the surface. Take that collection of emotions, clarify them, and put them to good use so that you can make a determination as to whether this is a person you continue to see or not. Whether you have a deep conversation because you've got pieces that do not make sense to you here, right? So that's another part of this. All right? Whose stuff is it? Now, I want to talk about another thing about trust. In order to get into a relationship, I believe we have to have that mystical moment where we allow ourselves to enter the experience. There is no way we can predict that they will not hurt us. As a matter of fact, if you're going to feel anything for somebody, you can also experience loss and pain. All right. So if you are trying to save yourself from heartache, just give up trying to date and love, because whether they die or whether they leave or you leave them, you're going to have an emotion around it. Okay. But what we try to do is to trust ourselves. And this is why I work so hard to inform all of you about your innate resilience and how to set your mind to do this thing called love and partnership, dating, staying in a partnership, making it last throughout the years, the skills that you need to do that. And one of which is a sense of resilience. If you are playing all out and investing with your partner and truly showing up and being yourself, then you've done your job. That's it. Okay? You're being the best version of yourself. You're trying to communicate, you're trying to be fair, you're trying to be honest. But we don't need you to be stupid. If you have something that is nagging you, something that down deep inside just it doesn't feel right, then you doubt not yourself, but you doubt the situation. And then there are a number of steps that you can choose from here. One, you could go into direct confrontation with your partner or your date. You know, you said this, this, and this, but then this and this occurred, and then I discovered this, and then I saw that online. And so why did you tell me you were out of town and you actually were at a club on Friday? I mean, I would like to begin my time dating you with honesty. You don't have to lie to me if you want to go out. I want to know where I stand, right? If you're in a relationship and you feel a difference in your partner and you see these signs that make you uncomfortable, like, wow, they're going to the gym, they're changing their diet, and they're wearing really good clothes to work, and they're bringing clothes for after work because there's a business event. And suddenly you feel they're either way too inattentive or way too attentive. Then you're thinking, oh, this looks like a classic sign that something's going on. In a relationship, you'd probably want to confront your mate with your feelings. But when you confront a partner, date or partner with your feelings, have some basis for why you're saying this. Remember, don't just give them, I feel insecure because I don't know where you were. It's like, because then I discovered this, or when you said this, then you said that, which contradicted it, and it hasn't felt right to me. And when you went out the other day, you rushed out, but you came back to get a suit. And I know you guys don't wear suits. And it's like, you don't wear suits after work. So I'm really confused. And I feel like there's something going on. I wish you would tell me. But you have to have some facts in line. Okay. Now, let's say you want to bypass all that. You just plain doubt. So now you're going to start snooping. And I'm going to break that down into a couple of different levels. Then I promise I'm going to get to all of your questions. Again, if you have something in Super Chat, send it through that way. Okay. If you do not get the answers you want, if things are, let me back up. Let's say you're newly seeing somebody, you're online. Snoop away. You don't know this person. You haven't met them yet. They can be anything and say anything. Google search, that's fine. It's a doubt. Are they who they say they are? Oh, I've been separated for a while. Are they? Look it up. LinkedIn, check it. Do they really work for this company? And those of you ladies dating online who are over 50, that some foreigner, American guy, but he happens to be on an oil rig out in Turkey, or he's working someplace else out of the country on a 1-month contract. This is classic. And they have entire rooms with a game board and notes, and different people take over at different times of day to chat you up. Be smart. Online dating, you should start by doubting. That's a good thing. You doubt that they are who they say they are until they prove otherwise. You have to meet them face to face. Then you still have to find out basic things. Don't be afraid to ask, are you currently single? Does somebody think they're in a relationship with you? That's what I used to ask them. I mean, I've been asking that for 25 years. I would meet somebody in the 90s. I'd say this. Okay, we have a question. Hi, Neil Pratt. How are you doing? Thank you, my dear. My partner recently took a sex toy on a work trip because we all want to get closer to our workmates. Yep, it's typically intended for solo use. All right. But my mind can't help but worry. he's meeting up with someone. I don't want to confront, violate privacy. Oof. How can I just lean in and trust? This is brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, here's what I like about this. My understanding from this, Neil, and thank you for the contribution. My understanding from this is that you are in a current partnership. And part of that requires you trusting. But I want to know, let's think about the history of the agreement you have with your partner. Have you agreed that on occasion, the two of you can decide to try something else? Is there a hall pass for going out of town? Did you make any exclusions? And if you haven't talked about it and you're in a partnership, you may want to. And I think these discussions are especially needed for my gay clients, and because of the very sexual nature of men and the very deeply loving nature of men, I have to say. So I think that you may want to go back over your understanding. And then I have to also say, I understand the room for doubt if it's never been done before. Was anything ever taken in the past? So what we look for when we doubt is a break in the pattern. That's what I call it. Breaks in the pattern of behavior with our partner or our date are normally the things that tip us off and make us go, oh, they used to text every morning, now they don't. They never took a sex toy on a work trip before, now they are. This is, as far as I know, number one. But the question is, were there other small rumblings and breaks in the pattern before this time? If, Neil, you find that there are a couple of other little things that made you go, that doesn't make sense, then if you feel confident in doing so, you take a collection of those very precise pieces of information and present it to your partner in a very loving and open way. Look, I love you. I'm crazy about you. Obviously, I'm selfish. I want you all to myself. But when you made that weird phone call in the bathroom a month ago, I wrote, I kind of put it in my head that it was weird, but I thought it was strange that you had to go away and do it. And you said it was work, but okay. And then we had those hang-up calls, and I kind of let that go. Then out of the blue, you took the sex toy to a work trip, and I'm just like, now I need to talk to you. Is there something we need to discuss in our relationship? Is there something you want to tell me? Now, Neil, honestly, I'm telling you, you know men, I know men. I've been working with them a long time. Number one thing to get the truth out of men, you got to start with this. You're not bad. You're not wrong. I'm not going to burn your clothes, okay? Or spread stories about you on social media. I need vital information. Because the culmination of all this stuff is feeling uncomfortable, and I don't want to be resentful. I don't want to be suspicious. I think you do the same in my position. Okay, so Neil, does that help you? That's how I would approach it. So, and thank you for this. Spy all you want. If you've never met them, do background checks, do the reverse search on the face, do the reverse search on the telephone numbers. Don't just believe what you want to believe. And the number one target for this are women over 50. I have a gal on Instagram, and I think I mentioned this to you guys, has paid $47,000 to meet a celebrity who has a crush on her. He only communicates via text and Instagram, but his manager needs that much money to set up a meeting. This is somebody who is successful, bright, educated, but put it in the terrain of love or this arena, they go brain dead. Yep. So, okay. In a relationship, I've just kind of stated it here for Neil. In a relationship, you need to have a discussion first before you go snooping. Okay? And in order to do that, I'd follow the protocol that I gave Neil. Come up with some facts and figures. You don't want to wait to the point that you're just about to burst. You have to be able to tangibly pinpoint a couple of examples of the strange break in the pattern that gives you pause and makes you question a certain thing, statement, behavior, and now you need to have a real conversation. So remember, people hide things from us because they're ashamed or they don't want us to know because they want to do what they want to do. Okay, let's see, $10. Hi, CM. Hi, Susan. I'm dating a man who says he's honest, but somehow I found out half-truths or he omits important information. What can I do about this? Exactly the same formula. Collect 3 examples. Be very, very, very specific. Begin by saying, I like you. I want this to work out between us. And I know I've talked to you about honesty, but it's really important to me. And there have been some irregularities. Could you help me to understand? Omission is also a lack of being forthcoming and truthful. What are you afraid that I'm going to think? Why do you feel you need to do this? Are you ashamed of something in your life? Do you think there's a part of you I won't accept? Because I like you, and in order to move forward, I need to clear this up, and you can help me. But by not telling me these things, you make me wonder, right? And then you can give them an example where you put it on the other foot. If I did this, and then this, and then this, exactly what they did, or the weird things that you discovered, would you trust me? And would you feel that I'm a good prospective candidate to continue seeing? Okay? So that's, if you can control yourself, that's the way to do it. And another thing about snooping, if you want to snoop, if your partner, the person you're seeing, is not giving you the real, and you know it, they're not telling you the truth, and you feel like you have to do some spying, okay? Sometimes, and I'm not against it, if you are at the point where you need valid information because you have a ton of these things and your partner is not telling you the truth, and now you need to make a decision because you have a lack of clarity and an overriding issue that's creating resentment and fear and anxiety, and your partner will not discuss it. They will not attend to it. They're blowing you off. They're stonewalling you. They're lying to your face. It doesn't feel authentic. I have no problem with you doing what you need to do within measure, within reason, to find out what is not being stated. So there was a TV show a while back, I've cut the cable a long time ago, but it was called Cheaters, where one partner would think that their partner was cheating, but they'd get the film crew to kind of follow them and set it up, and then they'd catch the guy in a bar with a girl when he said he had to work the late shift or whatever. And then he'd come out, the film crew would get him, and he'd have a confrontation with the wife. And I mean, sometimes extreme measures are needed to unearth the truth. But the really, really, really sad thing is that in an adult relationship, if somebody's lying or cheating, they should just, have the guts to stand behind the choices they've made and own up to it. Yeah, okay, I am having an affair. I do realize that this will now result in a divorce. I'm sorry about that, but I'm responsible and I accept. It's like trying to tell the cop you weren't going 20 miles over the speed limit. I mean, it's like you were, okay? Well, you can try and talk your way out of it. So I think people just have to be honest with, you're lying, you're cheating, you're seeing somebody else, you're not telling the truth. Yeah, take the punishment that goes with it. Hi, Sparkly Waves. How are you doing? I know that I have trust issues. Great. You defined which category you're in the first ones. But how can I tell when my trauma is distorting my perception versus when the person is misleading me, willingly or not? Perfect. That is the most detailed analysis of what we've already been discussing. So we kind of said it at the top. You are going to have to develop a methodology. You're going to have to think of this creatively. What do you need to hear and know to make you feel safe? Are you able to identify that? What kind of safety and security do you need? Okay? Do you need routine phone calls? Do you need them to answer uncomfortable questions? Do you tell your partner, I have had these traumatic experiences in the past. I don't want to foist them onto you. Can you help me? Manage these. It might mean an uncomfortable conversation for you. I am sorry. But if you will help me, I can get through this. And maybe it's your help that's going to help to heal these wounds, because I need to have a good example of what it's like to have somebody tell me the truth. And all I ask of you, and again, then here's where you set up the ground rules. All I ask of you is me, especially me, from my background. I would beg you to please be thoughtful and kind. You know this about me. If you have a change of heart, if you feel you need to examine somebody else, if you feel you need to lie to me because I can't handle something, you want to go away for the weekend with your buddies and just didn't want to tell me, so you make it a business trip, don't do that. Tell me the truth, and I will gain confidence. Tell me the truth, I work my way out of trauma. Okay? That's how I'd handle it. Because you know, everyone, the partners we have, good or bad, they're here for our evolution, for us to learn the skills of being a great partner. Nothing you do with one is lost. Even though the relationship may not continue, the skills that you learn and the way that you learn to communicate, express yourself, and get through your own issues, to work in partnership with another person, to trust yourself enough to be involved in the game and the dance of love. It's amazing. And everybody you're with will help you to become the kind of person you need to be. They'll either give you tons of stuff you don't want to see, and then you're going to have to deal with it. Like, okay, I hate confrontation. Oh my God, they're pushing me to confront. Oh my God, I have to speak up. I hate speaking up. I hate to, now I have to. Okay? So each people are kind of, I think, perfectly crafted to come into our life and push certain buttons. But here's the thing. For as much as they irritate us, they're also here to assist us in our healing. You know, that was the great Harville Hendricks teaching, how to get the love you want and how to keep the love you have and all that stuff. It's great. I think it's way long ago. I think it was in the 90s. He's a Baptist minister, and people would come to him when they were just about ready to break up. And he realized this. He had this unbelievable moment where he went, this is the point where the healing begins. You've got two vulnerable people and their issues are colliding. That's the time that you use this situation that's so uncomfortable to hold hands and walk through it as partners, rather than, oh, they make me feel something I don't want, I'm going to bail. So this is an option. And again, I'm going to preface all that I've said in that you have a loving partner and it's a healthy relationship, okay? Let me read some of your things here. I can see B-Ray. Hello, B-Ray. She's talking to Jillian. Oh, hi. Okay, Natalia, how are you doing? $5. Thank you, my dear. Okay, let's see. How can one successfully distinguish between compliments and affection and love bombing? I rarely trust any flattery at all. Thank you, Susan. Well, your photograph is beautiful on your profile. We don't want you to go so far that you don't believe that somebody thinks that you're wonderful and worth loving. Love bombing is a technique that even a lazy dater knows how to do instinctively. You know, all my female clients bemoan the fact that, but he was so attentive when we were first together. Yeah, he was trying to capture you. Then men go on to the next goal. Okay, there she is. Okay, good. I've got a family, got a partner. Okay, love it. Okay, now work. You know, whatever the next goal is. So I think my bangs are driving me crazy. So I think if the flattery feels inauthentic, if somebody is flattering you, and take it as a compliment, number one, they might just be telling the truth. But we can tell by the level of the flattery, and if it doesn't have, it's not anchored to something that's real and true that we know about ourselves. For example, that's why I tell people when they give positive affirmations to their partner, I ask them, like, tell me 3 good things about your partner. They have to be real and true, and give me an example. That stuff we believe. Natalia, you're so brave. You've gone through so much in your life, and I know you've had trauma. And, you know, here you're standing in front of me, this beautiful woman who's willing to try one more time. I admire that so much. That's good flattery. They saw you. And that you'll absorb. You're like, yeah, I see that about myself. Right now, take it as a plus, accept the flattery, thank them. And again, trust yourself. Too much too soon. If the pace is really, they want you in bed, they want you in bed, they want you to fall in love with them, close off your profiles to everybody else. It's you and me, baby, we're going to do it. That's going to be a very steep ride up and a very quick crash down. That's the cycle of that one. We all know it. Okay? Natalia, thank you. You're lovely. There. Am I love bombing you? Am I praise bombing you? You're lovely. All right. This is fantastic. Let's see. What do we have here? Janine. Hi, Janine. $10. Thank you so much, my dear. I've connected with someone whom we have a fun bedroom relationship with, which is what I want. But could there also be something there that we can learn from as well? Of course, every interaction is potential, because I'm starting to see this. Every person you meet, it is our decision. I mean, I think Carolyn Mays called it spiritual madness, but there's a point of tuning into everything that's talking to you that can make you sound a little crazy. You think you're losing it. If you start looking for clues, you're going to see them. They're everywhere. Humans tend to filter and focus on what we need to look at now in real life to keep all this input simple. Everything's being recorded all the time. I don't know it. If you took me into hypnosis, I'd remember it. There might have been somebody walking in my peripheral vision that I didn't see. I didn't think I saw. So I think this design you have, fun bedroom playmate. Okay. Can you make it more? You can make it whatever you want. You can take a small container of something that looks like this little category, it's over here. And you can infuse all sorts of things: fun, honesty, playfulness, truth, conversation, depending upon the level of your partner, real communication, vulnerability. And this is where I like us all to design our own love model, whatever format, however long. There are people I've known who have been transformed by a weekend affair, relationship with somebody they never saw again. Why? Because it shook their perspective, made them see something else about themselves. They discovered a way of being there that they wanted to be in the future with a partner. They knew this wasn't something forever. They were grateful for the intersection, but it was a takeaway. So my philosophy personally is I don't do anything meaningless or inconsequential. It doesn't have to be forever. It doesn't have to be what somebody else thinks is a relationship. But if I'm there, I show up. I don't segment. I may be in a small container, but I don't give less of myself because I don't have fun. It's selfish. I don't have fun. I want to, I'm there or I'm not there. Okay? If I'm not there, I'm not there at all. If I'm there, I'm there. So why not play with it? Okay, let's see what we have here. Susan, we are here. It's only after 6 p.m. here in the, you're in the UK. Time must be different. You guys are in the UK now. We did daylight savings a week or two ago. No, maybe it was a week. How long ago did Barb leave? I think 2 weeks ago. Okay. Ricci, hi. Does physical connection translate into passion, chemistry, and building of emotional connection? Physical connection is different than emotional connection. Okay? Physical connection for some people, mostly men, but many times women, can be an isolated event where they just do that. And they've got parameters around it. That's an individual thing, okay? So what oftentimes females don't understand, because we're so integrated, right? And attach, and you have to, or we just leave our kids in the parking lot, like, okay, you're pissing me off, stop crying, right? So it's okay. But oftentimes, I know that some men, the male species, have an ability to have a sex act with no connection to the person whatsoever. It's a physical action. For women, I've seen in the millennial culture, poor women being just roadkill, Saturday night roadkill, who sought to develop that characteristic. And then you've got a fragmented woman who's unfortunately lost the sweetest part of herself, which is the part that can love and nurture and be tender. And when you can feel for another person, you can feel, you know? So if you're there, I would show up. Remember, the content you put in is oftentimes the content you get back. Not always. I know you. We've discussed this before with different partners, but show up. Passion is great. Passion, most people can't tell the difference between sex and love. So emotional connections can indeed happen. All right. So that's a yes and no and yes answer. I hope you understood that. I want to be very clear that I have a pressing appointment, and I'm going to have to cut this off at exactly at 45 after the hour. So we have about 10 minutes left maximum. And I just want to make sure we've covered a lot of material today. Oh, okay. B is on holiday in the UK with Gwyneth. So does anybody else have any other things that I've missed here? I really appreciate all these questions. These are so great. I've done this. Okay, I've done this. I just want to make sure I've gotten to all of you. Neil, thank you for your question. That was really, really good because we needed to discuss this as far as partnership. Okay. Okay. Oh, let's see. Is this a new one? Sparkly Waves, I think this is a new one. What about an honest person who may be lying to himself? Very good. Great discernment. This is why I went. Do you remember in the beginning of the show when I said, whose stuff is it? Is it their stuff? What are you reacting to or feeling? Is it their stuff? What if they don't even know it's their stuff? If I mistrust, how do I know it's my trust issues or his need to think he's a good guy? Wait, if I mistrust, could be both. How would you play that out? Let's have you, okay, I've just asked you that question. Okay? You tell me what answers. I oftentimes say to myself, okay, if you have a question, what would Susan say to Susan? Or what would somebody I trust say to me? So let's take the different scenarios. You mistrust, and it is your trust issue, and he needs to think he's a good guy. Is that so bad? Is the good guy going to help you? If he helps you with your trust issues, then he is a good guy. If you have trust issues and he's feeling now resentful and miscast as being a liar, he has just cause. So, okay, now it's time to talk about this. Just cause, or what I call a valid reason. We tend to know that we have a valid reason when we have evidence. And when it's not a one-off, when there have been a couple of things. Oftentimes we will see that red flag and we're like, we'll dismiss it. And then after we get a couple, believe me, trust me, your internal computer is on. It is the best accountant in the world. It's racking everything up. So you have to be honest with yourself. All right? Sparkly Waves. Could you please answer mine too? We don't know. Did you send through a super chat? Dupuy, whatever his name is. Okay, how do I know if it's love or friendship? I'm a student and managing both would be hectic. I don't know myself if I like him or not, but I think about us a lot, and then I think about that with others also. You're not in love. Hope that helps you. I'm rarely this concrete, but when you're that confused, somebody needs to tell you, boom, you're not in love. You have feelings that are new to you. Some are strong, some are fleeting. You're a student, focus on your work, see what pops in front of your eyes. If it seems interesting and you keep having an attraction to it, go check it out. Okay? Hope that helps you. So are there any other questions today before we start to wrap it up here? Let's see. Sparkly Waves, you are welcome. Wow, this is interesting. Great. And our love to Jillian N. Okay, anything else, people? Because I have these appointments in Arizona. I have to drive. And if I have an appointment, They're not like, oh, Susan G, we know you have a live show. They're like, there's one slot. You wait a year to get this. Okay, here we go. Jillian, we love you. Okay, can you trust that? Okay. Expressing gratitude. Oh, for Susan Winter and B. Ray and Gwyneth Sharps and all the lovely folks in chat. Love and light to all. We love Jillian. We love Jillian. We love, thank you, thank you, thank you. Susan, I love how matter of fact you are. You are wonderful. Thank you, Craig. You know, I used to think Patty Stanger, when I'd watch Millionaire Matchmaker, years ago, I'd be flipping channels, you know, and I'd see her and she'd be like, nope, blah, 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 your pecker's doing the picking or whatever. You got the wrong pecker or picker. And she'd be like, and I thought, God, she's so harsh. And then I realized she does this every day. She hears hundreds of people every month. Oh my God. She's at the point that she wants to scream no. But here's the thing. When somebody explains an answer, they need to tell you why, or you're just as confused. I used to tell my mother that she'd say, do something. Do this. Don't do that. I would say, why? And I know it drove her crazy. And she said, because I said so. Little control issues there, yeah. Now, if she'd said, Susan, here's why. Think about it. Ba, 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 ba. And that's the smarter choice. You'll do what you want to do, but that's the price you'll pay. And if you don't do that, you could have da, 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 which is a better option. Do you see? And I would have been, wow, thank you. Okay? So we have to, I don't even remember what I was talking about, but it's about just cause and being to the point. I had a client, and because of his situation, he scared me so much with his obsessive desire for this woman that was the things he told me. I mean, I was 5 minutes into the conversation. I knew she was a player. All the pieces, my bells and whistles were going off. And I had to say to him, this is the worst person you could choose for yourself. I don't think you're in love. I think you're in obsession. And I think this is a manipulation. I am so, so, so sorry to tell you this. I am so sorry. And he hated me for it. And I think I had to do it to another guy. But out of the probably 6,000, 7,000 individuals I've worked with now, 2 or 3 times have had to be clear. But sometimes when a person is very, very confused, you have to speak to them as though they are a child. I have a client I'm working with right now who's trying to identify emotions. She tells me, I said, what's wrong? And then it's like, okay, I have to, I said, give me one word, okay? Give me one word. I'm 2 years old. I don't understand what you're supposed to tell me. So this is a very good discussion for all of you. Know your default. If you feel that there's stuff that's going on, have at least an example, a concrete example for why you're feeling this way. First choice, rather than react or start going down a spying path, is to try to have a conversation. Logical, rational. This, and this occurred, and then this, which is weird. And I had a funny feeling, which I'm not like this, and I do have this history. I want you to help me through it, okay? So I don't want to mistrust you. I want to continue to explore this relationship, but these things didn't add up, and it feels like there have been some things omitted. And I know you deserve a personal life, but please, I want to try and get into something with you here, and I just need these little bits of information, okay? So I hope you all have had a good talk here. The truth is always the best, even when it's hard. CM Randall, I used to set because I was with younger partners, I would tell them in the very beginning, the truth will not hurt me. The lie you make me believe will kill me. Okay. So if you're looking at something and you're just sniffing, and you want to go take a bite out of it, I beg you, tell me first. You can go, no questions asked. I won't like what she looked like, whatever. I just have the courtesy of telling me first. But if I find out by somebody else or by accident, you will meet my wrath. You don't have to. I promise you, I will not like it, but I need to know it. You have to give me that, okay? Set the ground rules in the beginning, everyone. Thank you so much. Okay, so quick things. I'm getting more of you on the newsletter. Some of you that are newly signed up are like, how come you haven't written? I signed up because I want to go to see you in Munich. I want to see you in Croatia, blah, blah, blah. I don't send out newsletters all the time, basically monthly, or you could get 3 in 1 month because I have a big project or something I need to tell you about. But I hate getting slammed my inbox. People I like, but they're 5 and 6 a week. It's like, please get off of me. If I want to buy your product, I'll buy it. So the newsletter, I don't share or sell any of your information. It's just so that I can keep you abreast of what's going on. As far as the EU trip, okay, the newsletter went out today to those of you that got it. We are collecting names per city. So if you want to, so far, I mean, with what's going on in the Ukraine, and my heart goes out to everybody there and my clients that have Ukrainian families. But as of now, where we're going is where we're going, unless we learn otherwise. This is in May. So Munich is May 21st. I want to set your expectations. It's a couple of hours in the afternoon. Okay, it's free, but it's a couple of hours. Okay, so think accordingly. If you can do that, that's great. And then we've got Dubrovnik, Split, and Sorrento. Now I'm on vacation with my friend. Munich is a business, okay? But I'm on vacation with my friend, and so this would be coffee. You know, we could meet you for coffee or espresso, and we'd have to organize it. So please, if you'd like, go to sign my newsletter on the homepage. And if you have a special city where you'd like to see us, whether it's Dubrovnik, Split, Sorrento, or Munich, as of now, that's where we're going. Send your email to media@susanwinter.net. Let us know if you'll be there. The time period is March 21st through, I think, June 5th, okay? And we have more detailed information once we have you in an email group for your city, okay? That's that. So many of you don't even know that I have books and Breakup Triage, but if you're going through a breakup, I encourage you to download Breakup Triage. For those of you that have Audible, it's probably free. For those of you that don't, I think it's like $2. It's really good material. It's the first 7 steps to stop the hemorrhaging. And many of you don't know I wrote a book, and I don't tout it, but it's called Allowing Magnificence, Living the Expanded Version of Your Life. It's really good. It tells you why things happen. I'm so tired of people saying, oh, everything happens for a reason. Yeah, let's figure it out in real time. Help me figure out what I'm doing in this relationship real time and what the benefit is, and I can go through it a lot better. Okay? I can go through the pain a lot better if I know what the growth factor was. If I know why the universe is pressing me in this uncomfortable area and I can see the benefit, then I can tuck and roll. Okay? And I can learn. So that book answers and teaches you how to diagnose. All right? Thank you, everyone. Come back next week. Is there anything else? Oh, consultations. I've really been cutting down. I have very, very few times per week for the next couple of weeks. It's crunch time for me. Wrapping it up here, going on camera with a lot of things I'm doing with ABC, and then going back to New York. So if you want a consultation, I urge you to look. There aren't many available, but I'd love to work with you, okay? Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I hope this has answered some of your questions on when to trust and when to doubt. Gwyneth B., I'll be seeing you in a couple months, and thank you, everyone, for joining me. Jillian, all of you, adore you. Thank you for the super chat, everyone. Have a great weekend coming up. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.